Hey everybody. So now we're going to get into the Halloween bows for the year. If you've been following the Facebook page, I had recently posted something similar to this one. And for as detailed as it looks, it's actually very easy to do. If you have problems doing your boutique bows and stuff, this one really is not that hard. It's basically just making loops, okay? And the spikes for this one are pretty easy. You know, you just basically have 5 spikes, and you know, it's really easy. It's not hard at all. And this is my version of how it's done. I mean, it could be done, you know, in a lot of different ways. I don't know, everybody has their own way. And you can add rickrack and tulle. I did the tulle in this one. You can add, you know, feathers. We're going to add feathers in the one that we're going to do. Corker ribbon. I just added a couple of side bows. So, you know, not very difficult. And they're real fun to work with. One thing, though, y'all are going to be probably aggravated with me. I have just an abundance of ribbon, and I don't remember where I got it all. So the ones I remember, I'll mention, you know, where they come from, but I don't, some of it I don't know. Probably from Etsy. All of the little trendy ribbon comes from Etsy somewhere. Okay, so anyway, this is the one we're going to do today in the candy corn theme style, kind of, you know, with just your oranges and yellows. Okay, so besides the regular stuff, your needle and thread, if you want to use a clip for this one, a lighter, scissors, glue gun. Let's see, when we get into the ribbon, your spikes, you need 5 6-inch spikes, and I have 5 different ones. I mean, you can, you know, you can do some exactly the same or whatever, you know, it's just up to you. So these are 6 inches, and then the little loops in the middle, you're going to cut 6 of those, and that's what these are. And they are going to be cut to 5 inches, and I'll leave the leave all the measurements in the descriptions box. Ooh, sorry, I just ate some nachos and I have like indigestion so bad. Anyway, and then your bigger bow underneath the loops, let's see, I think this is cut to 14 inches. Yes. Alright, so you need 2, this is 1.5 inch ribbon, and you know, 2 pieces or whatever. I'm also going to do a couple of the side bows. Oh gosh, this is probably like 8 inches. 7 inches. So I'm going to do 2 side bows with the 3/8 candy corn ribbon. And your choice of hardware. I've got these little embellishments here for the side bows. And then whatever fillers you're going to put in the middle, I'm just going to use my ostrich puff here. And one other thing that I'm gonna use is the pen. This little you need like a ball on the end of it. It's just a straight pen we're going to use to help us with our spikes. Okay, so to get started, let's work on our spikes first. And by the way, let's see, I know that this ribbon came from Oh My Gosh Goodies, and my new favorite shop, the Trendy Owl on Etsy. I got this one, and oh, look at how precious that is. Love it, love it. This little glitter scribbles on there, that comes from the Trendy Owl. Let's see, this little 7/8 candy corn ribbon comes from Oh My Gosh Goodies as well. But as far as the rest of it, I do not remember right offhand where it came from. I'm sure it was, you know, somewhere on Etsy. So if you just kind of Google Halloween ribbon or candy corn ribbon or whatever, you know, or look on Etsy, I'm sure you'll find it. So, okay. And this, you know, this is not really a very hard bow to make, honestly. I see a lot of them, and I, you know, really never made a lot of them. You know, I always went for something like a little more detailed. It's sort of a scaled down version of the funky loopy bow, I guess. Anyway, so that's what we're gonna work on. And then the next Halloween bow I make, possibly next weekend, will be the giveaway. Okay, so we start with the spikes. Make sure that you heat seal. And we're not, I mean, you can cut them if you want, you know, like in a V-cut or slants or whatever. I kind of, for this one, like the straight cuts. And, you know, you just want to make sure and line them up edge to edge in whatever you know, line them up however you want them to go with the spikes. Okay, in order, that's what I was trying to say. Okay, and then what I do is, once you have them all stacked, you just kind of want to bend them in half with the print side inward, I guess. Or, I mean, it really doesn't matter, but it makes it easier. Then you want to get your pen and poke it through the center. And this is just one way of doing it, you know, you don't have to do it this way. Okay, and then what you're going to do then is fan them out into the spikes, keeping the pen in the middle. Okay, just sort of fanning that out in the order that you want. Let's see. And then you can, at that point, if you want to, use your clip and just kind of look. It doesn't have to be perfect. Okay, and that looks about right. So then I'm going to take my pen out and get my needle and thread. My poor little cutting board here is so rough looking. It is just, I need a new one. And then you can just go in the middle where that pen was with your thread and needle. Upholstery thread is the best. Alright, and then you can, you know, crease however you want. I'm just going to take that off now. Okay, and I basically just fold it inward and then fold the two sides down. Like you have a sandwich, and go around the center. Okay, now pull tight. I haven't tied it off yet, but getting a little tangled up here with just kind of holding the center. Just kind of stretching it out first to make sure. Okay, and then I'm going to tie it off in the back. Okay. Now, with these spikes, especially since they're a little more floppy and not necessarily glued together like the other over-the-top bows, I do like to stiffen them. Okay, so let's take a look and see what we have here. You just want to kind of pull it out. And mine are off center a little bit, so I may end up cutting, wow, off center quite a bit. See, I definitely don't get mine perfect. Okay, so I may have to just trim a little bit to even them up, but for the sake of moving on, I'm just going to get my little cardboard piece here. This is the back of the wood burning tool package it came in. And actually, when you have like all the glitter and the print and stuff, I actually like to turn it over on the back and spray it that way. Okay, got my can of Rave here. And while this is drying, we'll go on and do the other part. Got my little table fan, my new one that's not noisy. Okay, so now we're going to move on to the next part, which is, I don't know what it's, you know, what you would call it. I don't think it's like a base bow, but, you know, just, you know, the big bow that goes on top. So you just want to go ahead and heat seal. Thought I had, yeah, I think I did that, but I don't think I did a real good job. Okay, and this is kind of like a twisted topper bow, I guess, if I had to come up with a name with this bow. So what I do is I kind of get a crease in the middle just to kind of see where my middle is. And what you're going to do is just kind of go in, you know, if the center is right here, then you just want to kind of do this. And you're going to do the same thing like that. You know, you don't want to do this. Okay, you want to make sure it's, you know, this printed side is flipped over. And you want to overlap, or at least I do, some overlap, you know, in the middle. Okay. And then basically, you know, I just fold it in the middle and you know, it's just kind of like a two-fold crease in the center, like that, like the little sandwich thing, and just kind of make sure it's even on both sides. Okay, and then, and I mean, you know, there may be another method that other people use to do this, but this is my method. Okay, so we want to do that to both bows. Okay. Knock on wood. I guess my dogs are sleeping. They're being very good right now, not bothering me. Okay, so you want to do the same thing to the second one. Hopefully you guys can see that. And then again, I just do a little sandwich fold. Okay. I don't catch myself getting off the camera, so I apologize if I go off camera. Alright. Okay, so you have your two pieces, and you just basically kind of want to put them together like this. And make the, you know, the four sides, I guess, if that makes sense. And if it helps to, like, turn it over like that, that looks better. You know, it doesn't matter what side you use. Let's see what that looks like. Alright. Okay, and so you just simply want to glue those together, and you can, you know, you could sew them together or rewrap or whatever, because this is the type of bow that you basically just stack it. You just glue, you know, each piece on top of the other, and it's kind of hard to wrap it with thread. You know, it's just kind of one of those, if that makes sense. I mean, I guess you could sew up through it or whatever, but if not, you just make sure that you have glued all the pieces real well. Okay, so that's that one. The next, and I've already glued some of these together, you need 6, and I guess you could do 4. I'm going to do 6, and they're 5 inches. You want to make sure you heat seal. Must have missed some. I mean, you're actually, if you don't heat seal, it's not a big deal because these are going to be buried. But anyway, basically you take and you do pretty much what we did with that and make a loop. Okay, so just going to put a spot of glue on the rest. I did 3 already, and I'm just going to do these other 3. And, you know, like I said, if you're going to use rickrack or corkers, then that's also going to be incorporated in the loops. Okay. So basically, this is what I do, and I'm guessing, you know, there are other methods, but you want to do one side and kind of arrange how you want it. You know, I get one piece, and then just sort of glue these next to each other, the two pieces. You know, just overlapping a little bit, if that makes sense, if you want to see close up. Okay. And then basically you want to stick the other one on there too. See, I just put a little bit of glue and then got this one in there. Okay, so that's one side, and that's just the way I do it. I'm not saying it's right, you know, or the only way. And I'm going to do the same thing to this. Oops. Okay, so you basically have these two sides, and then you're going to, you can glue them together, you know, if you want to wait and kind of see what it looks like in the middle. I'm going to go ahead and put them together, and you can see that the loops, you know, just, there's really no uniformity to it. It's just a, you know, piece that, you know, just kind of goes every which way. And then basically you're going to glue it in the middle however you want. You know, there's no right or wrong way. You can twist it any way you want. Okay. So, and again, you want to make sure you use a fairly generous amount of glue. You know, unless you're going to sew it up, you know, through the middle or whatever, because with the way this bow is, it's hard to have a middle to wrap ribbon or string around to secure it, if that makes sense. Okay. Okay, so that's the main part of the bow. And let me check the spikes here. They're still just a little bit damp, so I'm going to give it just another minute to dry while we do the side bows, I guess. Well, no, actually, okay. But we can go ahead and do the side bows. These are about, you can do like, you know, 6 or 7 inches, and I mean, this is just a simple side bow where you crisscross like an awareness symbol. Okay. And then you just kind of pull the back down, you know, like back there, and glue it. Can't remember where I got, you know what, I want to say either hair bow center or ribbon queen. You know, this is not hard to find. And then of course the little candy corns, you know, you can get a pack of these from Hobby Lobby or whatever, and just glue that in the middle. And just a tip, do you see that shank on the back where I cut it? You see how it still has that, you know, that bump right there? If that's ever a problem, you can, you can take your wood burning tool. I don't have it on right now, but you could take your wood burning tool, just be real careful, and singe that, melt it down to where it's flat. You just, you know, it'll melt. If it was on, it would melt. Okay, just, you know, just a little tip there if, you know, there's ever a need for it. So there's our one side bow. And just make sure you heat seal the bottoms of those. Okay, so I think we're ready to put our bow together. Yeah, one thing with these is you definitely have to make sure that you center the spikes, because you can see where I have, you know, one spike is, this side is a little more, is taller, you know, than the other. So I'm trying to stretch it out, but it's, I don't know why, because it's sewn in the middle. But anyway, I'll probably go back and, you know, just trim the other side if that, you know, if that ever happens. You could do the same. Okay, so what you have to decide is where you're going to plop this down to be the top. I guess that's as good as any. And you would just want to kind of line up the center, and again, you know, using plenty of glue is instrumental here to keeping it on, because we're not really securing the bow. And like I said, you could take, you know, some thread possibly, and I don't know, it'd be kind of impossible with this, but you can sew like a little, you know, sew it up in between there just to secure it. But I think it'll be okay. Gorilla Glue is strong if you use Gorilla Glue. Okay. Okay, so, and actually you can't even really tell with the spikes too bad, with some of them being longer than the others, but anyway, it's always like an issue with me. Okay, so, and I also have the little piece of ostrich feathers, and this one I used the tool. Now see, my spikes were like perfectly aligned in this one, so you know, no idea. I used some black glitter and some orange glitter, and just kind of, you know, put the two together in that one. Alright, so, and you know what? I need a glue stick, so I always do that. Like, I always run out of glue, it seems like, in the middle of the video. Okay. So all I'm going to do, well, I always like to try to put it in and see what it's going to look like first. Okay, and that looks perfectly fine. So I'm just, if you can see, I'm just going to spread this apart here and put, you know, just a generous amount of glue to get those little feathers to stay. And I just kind of hold it and smash it down. And if you use a lot of ostrich feathers like me, I don't know, you can get the back of a butter knife, or I've got this big snap clip thing. And, you know, just like with the curly paper ribbon, you know, I grew up as a kid, you know, doing that. You could just, you know, you do your ostrich curlies the same way. You just, you know, grab it with the thumb, and you don't want to pull too hard because then they'll break. Okay, so there's our it's kind of hard to see what's the top, and okay, and then before I do the side bows, I'm going to go ahead and put my clip on. These are so fun to make, and you can be so creative with them and use so many different colors of ribbon and whatever. Okay, so I'm just really getting that on there tight. Okay, and let me get my little understand that everybody and their brother wants to know where I get this from. I posted a link on the Facebook page. It's wholesalegirls.com, I believe, and it's under the display category, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, so, alright, there is that so far. And then the little side bows. Gosh, I hate to cover up my scribbly ribbon, but anyway. It's a cute embellishment, so. And I'm just gonna put them on the outside there. You could just put one if you wanted, or whatever. And my spikes didn't necessarily turn out too great for this one, but oh well. I'm human. As I finish this up, I just want to say, again, you know, my last video, you know, my heart went out to those in Texas with their hurricane, and I have more viewers from Texas than anywhere, and then another place I have a lot of viewers is Florida, and I just want you guys to know that my heart goes out to you, and you know, we sent the Cajun Navy over there to help you guys out, so hopefully everybody's safe. And I mean, I know how it is to go several days without, you know, your electricity, and I don't know what it's like to be rescued from your home. Luckily, we've never had that experience, but I used to be a teacher, and, you know, we had Katrina, the kids from New Orleans, you know, came to our school, and they were afraid, and I just, you know, I don't want to go into a long story, but believe me, I know how you're feeling, and my heart goes out to both states right now, and you're in my prayers and thoughts, and you know, hopefully you guys can get back on your feet. I mean, you know, we had our big flood last year, and there are people still not back in their homes, so it just takes some time. But anyway, this is our bow, and I would love for everyone to you know, if you guys can make one and send me a picture, that'd be awesome. But these are, you know, I think they're pretty easy to make. You know, not too difficult. But anyway, thanks for watching, and everyone have a good day. And the next one will be another Halloween bow, and it will be the giveaway. So just kind of look out for that. I'll try not to take too long to get that up. Thanks. Y'all have a good day.